I'm going to teach you 5 words, but what I actually want to say at first is that there is a difference here. You're going to learn them the way they can lead to your speaking. What is that? You're going to learn them through context. In the context, in examples. I'm going to make it easier for you with my explanations to visualize and think about the words and be able to make examples in your head, able to bring all of those connections that can lead to your better understanding of the words. So without further ado, means without wasting time, let's get into our today's 5 super common words in English. Let's go and activate them together. It's not gonna work any of these methods. Even if they're the best methods for fluency, they're not gonna work if you're not there. If you don't want to be fluent. So you need to want that. You ask how, just think. Just think. That's right. Be with me. When you're listening to a teacher, when you want to listen, just be there. Think. Okay, at first you might be like, okay, I'm thinking, but think deeper about the words. You say that, okay, they're simple, but yeah, I know. You gotta think about the more you make connections, relations to the words and to your life, and also to your mind, the deeper you get in those words and in that grammar, the more you're likely to bring it into use. So yeah, that was another point that I have personally experienced. Okay, now let's just get to the 5 words of today. The 5 words of today are about changes. It's about changes, about personality traits. I'm going to talk about how people act or deal with a situation that is new or a new environment, a new situation, how people deal with that. When you want to talk about all of these concepts, you're definitely going to need these beautiful common words in English. The first word is adapt. Adapt. That's right. Adapt is very common. I'm sure you've already heard that. Adapt means to change or adjust to a new condition, a new situation. Okay. Adapt is when you are there in front of, okay? You are there in front of a situation that is or a condition that is like, you're in a condition, suddenly you're in a new condition. So you're weak. You're like scared. You're like, oh, how can I deal with this? And then you know that you have to be better, to be braver, you need to be stronger, you need to become wiser, you need to see things better, you need a better version of yourself in order to deal with this new situation. So you need to change for the better. You need to change for the new situation, okay? So that kind of change is adapting, okay? You're adapting to the new situation. You're changing for the new situations so that it works for you. She quickly adapted to her new job. When you have a new job, you need to adapt to your new job. You need to make changes in yourself in order to be okay and deal with your job successfully. You need to adapt to your new job. Quickly adapted. Quickly means very fast, okay? She quickly adapted to her new job. So she has this new job. She's like, oh, it's difficult. When she first sees that how her job is, what her job is and how it works, she's like, oh, it's difficult. But then she makes changes. She goes and learns about the job. And you need to adapt to different situations in life. You as a person, you need to deal with the new situations of your life, the new situations in your life. You need to adapt to those new situations. You need to adapt. You need to make changes in yourself to be okay with the new situations, to make it work and to deal with it successfully. So for that, you need to adapt to the new situations in your life. Here it says the company is adapting its strategy to meet market demands. So the company needs to adapt their strategy to make changes for being okay with the new situation and to meet the market's demands, needs, and to satisfy their needs, to make it work. The second word, adjective form of the verb adapt, which is adaptable. Adaptable is the characteristic of a person, the trait of a person, a quality of someone, the quality that someone has. When someone is adaptable, they are very good at adapting. They're very good at changing themselves for the better, for being okay with the new environment, the new situation. They're good at that, so they're adaptable. It's a characteristic, it's a trait, it's a quality to be able to change whenever it's needed. The quality of being adaptable. So, are you adaptable? Is very adaptable and he learns new skills quickly. When a person is adaptable, they're quick learners. They're adaptable, so they are able to make changes for the better when they're confronting with a new difficulty, with a new situation, with a new environment, So when a person is adaptable, they're able to make positive changes. Okay, so here it says he is very adaptable and learns new skills quickly. He learns quickly, so he's very adaptable. Companies must be adaptable in a fast-changing world. Well, we're in a world that everything changes very fast, very quickly. So when this is the situation, and if you have a company, you need to follow the world. You need to follow the changes that are happening in the world, and you need to advance yourself. You need to update yourself every time. You need to make changes for the better, and that is the quality of being adaptable. So companies must be adaptable in a fast-changing world. A good teacher is adaptable to students' needs. A teacher who is powerful needs to be adaptable. Why? Her students, they have different needs, they have different expectations, they have different qualities. Okay, for example, this student learns faster, or this one learns slower. The teacher must change their method every single time. They need to make new changes. They need to change the lesson for this student, and then they got to change it for that student. So they're confronting with new situations, with new students, with different students. So they need to be able to change for them for making positive changes. They need to change and adapt to their students' needs. So that is why teachers must be adaptable. They need to be very good at adapting and changing for the better. The next word is adaptation. It's also a very common word. Adaptation means a change that helps someone or something fit in a new situation. The act of adapting is adaptation, basically. A change that helps someone or something fit a new situation. That is adaptation. This quick adaptation to the new culture impressed everyone. So when you're really good at adapting, making changes, and be okay with the new situation and make it work and deal with it successfully, this is called adaptation. Your quick adaptation can make people, surprised and impressed. They're like, wow, it's great. This person is a very adaptable person. Because of his quick adaptation, this person is very adaptable, and it makes people surprised. They're like, wow, it's great. The film is an adaptation of a famous novel. The film is an adaptation of a famous novel. They have this very common phrase. We have this film adaptation. When there is a original version of that in the novel or story, but then it is changed to a movie, into a film, that film is a film adaptation. Climate adaptation is necessary for survival. Climate, related to weather. So climate adaptation, the ability to change with the new situation. So climate adaptation is necessary for survival. You need to adapt to the new weather and to the new situation to survive, to be alive, and to live. So climate adaptation is necessary for survival. The next word is adjust, which is a verb. Adjust is also very common. It's kind of the synonym of adapt. It's a little different, but let's see. Adjust means to make small changes. Well, adapt basically means to change, to change for the better, for the new situation, to fit a new situation, to be okay and deal successfully with a new situation or a difficult new situation. Adjust, on the other hand, to make small changes to fit a new situation. Let's read the examples. She adjusted her schedule to have more free time. Made a plan, okay? She has planned her, for example, week. This planning is called schedule. So she has planned her week, for example, and she looks at the plan and she's like, oh, I don't have a lot of free time. It's going to be hard for me. It's going to be tiring for me. What would I do? I need to add to my free time and get a little bit from my study time and add to my free time. So I need to make small changes to make it fit in my new thought, in my new situation, where I want things to be. So I make small changes. Like I get a little bit of my studying time and add to my free time. So I adjust it. Okay, make small changes. Here it says she adjusted her schedule, her plan. She adjusted the chair to make it more comfortable. Sometimes you make small changes with like physical things. You change the position of things. For example, I take this and put it there and I adjust its place so that I can, for example, see you better. He adjusted the chair to make it more comfortable. He moved it a little bit, made a little change to be more comfortable. You need to adjust your mindset to succeed. So you need to adjust your mindset, the way you think to succeed. So if you want to be successful, you need to make changes. You need to make small changes, the way you think. And in order to be successful, you need to have a different way of thinking. So you need to make small changes. You need to adjust your mindset. Word, which is the opposite of adapt, is resist. When you don't want to change, you resist. They're like avoiding that. So you're resisting it instead of adapting, making changes in order to be okay with that. You don't do that. You're like, no, you get back. So that is resisting. To refuse to accept change. You don't want to change. To refuse to accept change or do something. You refuse to accept change or do something. Basically, you refuse to do something and you also refuse to change. You are resisting something. Here, you resisted the idea of working from home. He was like, no, I don't want to make this change. I don't want to work from home. I can't accept this change. I need to do things the way I used to do them. I don't want to adapt to the new changes. I don't want to work from home. I want to do it the way I used to do it before. So you resist the new change. You resist changing. So you resisted the idea of working from home. The next one is some people resist learning new technology. Some people resist learning something, okay? Means that they're like, they don't want to change. They don't want to make any changes. They want to be the way they are. They're like resisting it. Refuse to make those changes, to do something. So here it says some people resist learning new technology. Yeah, that's true. A lot of teachers, for example, they refuse to learn new technology. They want to do the things the way they always used to do them. They're okay, they're more comfortable, they resist new changes. For example, if you introduce them to new technology, they're like, I don't know, I don't like to do it. Or they either say, I don't like to do it, or they're like, I don't know, maybe later. And then they go to do other stuff. So that is resisting. They're avoiding it. They are refusing to accept changes and to make changes. She tried to resist eating junk food but failed. Resist is just not about the change. Is sometimes you resist doing something. She tried to resist eating junk food. Junk food, like pizza, sandwich, pizza. She tried to resist eating them. She tried to resist eating them means that she tried to stay away, avoid them, but failed. Tried to resist it, tried to stay away from it, tried to refuse it and not go for it, but she finally failed and gave up to it, and she ate junk food. So thank you so much, you guys. I hope you like it. Don't forget to make your examples. For each word, you can make your examples and comment down below. I'll be happy to check them out and correct you if you had any mistakes. So thank you so much, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you want structured and consistent lessons like this one. Thank you. Bye for now.